What's going on, everybody? It's Rick from Gardening with Barchuckin. About 2 days ago, I did look in on this, and the castings are looking pretty great up at the top. So here we go. There's still a bunch of worms up here, heading into the top of the lid, which I'm okay with. Pumpkin stem. Okay. Oh, got you. I can't remember what I fed, so I'll just start digging in and see if we see anything. Oh, that's cool. I'm hoping it's coming through right here. There's a worm, and that's the sprig of rosemary. Okay, good to see. We still got some fresh bedding. I was a little worried when I seen all the castings up at the top that they went through everything, so that's a good sign. Okay, so there was no real food that I can make out. I just did up some fresh bedding, so I'm going to give them a couple handfuls of that. Actually infuse it with a little bit of the castings. So when I pull out the bag of food from the freezer, there's a little bit of liquid right here. So I'll just go ahead and add that right to the fresh bedding. So I have a pineapple skin. So I'm going 2 weeks now on these feedings. So I can kind of start getting back to some of those other bins and show them off. So that, I'm hoping, should be sticking around by the next feeding. Going to go ahead and add a little ground up eggshell to that feeding area. The ground up eggshell is good because the worms don't have teeth. They have the crop and the gizzard, so they're going to go ahead and use that when they take little bites of the eggshell in the food and then wiggle around. That helps to break the food down for them. We'll go ahead and cover that up. And because I have that extra bedding, I'm going to add some more right on that side. It's going to be easier if I take this glove off. And I'm going to add a little bit of water. And then adding the water to the fresh bedding to hopefully start enticing some of these microbes in there. Whoops. I hope you guys were yelling, "Rick, you forgot the pumpkin." Just kind of jam that in there. We'll give them a little sprinkle of the castings, so that helps to kind of inoculate that bedding too. It's going to be interesting to see this lower level. I'm going to show you, I just prepared some bedding for the lowest level. So this is still the feeding tray. This here is the inoculating tray. So this tray will become the next feeding tray in the next few weeks. And you can see there's some castings, moisture, and worms already down here, which is a nice sign. There's a nice looking red wiggler. with the swollen clitellum. Ooh, baby. And see, there's a couple worms made it down this way. Give them a little moisture. So I didn't go real wild and crazy. I just knocked all those worms back into the inoculating tray. This guy here has little feet that have to go inside this lip. So I put it in and then I give it a little shift to make sure that that got seated properly. So I'm bringing you along to show you how I'm going to go ahead and get this tray loaded up with bedding for my Vermihut worm tower. So I got basically how much paper bedding, cardboard bedding I want in this tray. And I have a whole bunch of coffee grounds saved up in here. Going to add some of my ground up eggshells. And then Anne really likes these. This actually can screw right on top of a 2-liter bottle. So that was only somewhere around 32 ounces, about 1 liter of water. And now I'm just going to mix this all together. Then I'll place this back in the tray and get it to the bottom of the Vermihut worm tower. This tray has to line up. There's little grooves on that white bottom tray. So this has to go in there so it sits sturdy. And then here's that bedding that I was mixing up. Okay, so I still have just a little bit of castings on my hand from earlier. So, and get a chance to add a little bit right to that. So I'm trying a new method out with this, actually having the bottom be moist. Typically I was doing it dry, and that would help to keep the worms out, but seeing that basically the goal is to keep the tower growing and grow more worms, Brian over at Brian's Garden, he suggested making everything a little bit more moist. So I'm going to try that out for, at least a few weeks, maybe a few months. And if that goes well, this will be the new way I do it. So I gave this tray a nice little mixing, but I will add a touch more water to this too. I do have city water. What I do typically is I'll fill up a couple containers, let it sit out for about a week, then I dump it into my spray bottles to use. I do use rainwater, but that's more outside. I typically don't try to bring the rainwater in. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but it just, to go outside to get water when I can just have it sitting on the counter, that's the way I do it. Okay. Yeah, so definitely trying a new technique, definitely a little wetter, and we'll see how it goes. I think the worms are really going to enjoy it, and hopefully, in the next few weeks to months, we'll start seeing a population boom again. Just to top it off, I like to add a little worm chow right over top the feeding area. That gives the worms just a little something extra. They can go after that now because it's so pulverized, and as the food continues to break down in the center and the microbes start attacking it, once it gets to the level that the worms want to eat it, they can go after that feeding zone. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed coming along, checking this out after the little break. If you guys have any questions, don't forget, drop it down in the comments. Thanks for coming along, checking out the video. Everybody have a great day.